Okay, let's get into it. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone is doing well. Kind of want to go over some things, current update, trading update, market update, list goes on. So, first things first, haven't been MIA. I just haven't been doing anything. This market is stuck in a range. So, I haven't been pushing out, educational videos. Haven't been pushing out trade recaps because I'm not taking any trades. Weekly recaps, there hasn't been any trades. And then, no pre-market plan videos, excuse me, as consistent because, right, I practice what I preach. And whenever I give you a pre-market plan video, I'm not going to give you something that I wouldn't take myself, right? I'm not a hypocrite. And then most importantly, I am a trader, not an entertainer. Right? I really hope that makes sense. And the whole point of my channel is to help and teach young beginner traders or traders starting off in their journey a simplistic way to trade, a simplistic approach. Trading is very simple and easy. As I always say, life is what you make it. Trading is what you make it. It all depends on your approach. So that's the entire point of my channel anyway. So I really wanted to give you guys an update on right the current market and give you guys some advice, some tips, moving forward as well. So two things, right? There's two things. There's going to be two types of traders. And when this is all said and done, it's going to be that one trader that understands the conditions, the pros and cons to the break and retest, and they're going to be patient. They're going to sit on their hands. They're not going to force anything in this channel and range. And when this market breaks the range and we start getting nice continuation and trending markets again, those are going to be the traders that's going to be able to capitalize on it. And then there's going to be the other traders who's stepping on the gas, trying to grow a small account, trying to make money in these conditions. And once this market breaks the range, they're going to think back on now, on what they were doing and wish they did not do it. Right? So what you do now is very important. I know I sound repetitive. I know I sound robotic, systematic when I always say, think about your next 100 trades. Have a long-term mindset. It's very real. And you'll understand that as soon as this market breaks the range, you're going to look back on trading in this channel, in this consolidation, and be like, man, I wish I could do X, Y, and Z all over again. So I really want to hit on that. Now, let's start here. When in doubt, zoom out. And I want to show you what's been going on. I want to show you why things have been slow. So this is SPY, and we are on the weekly time frame. We're on the weekly time frame. And this is something that you really have to understand here. Now, what do I always teach you, right? At the end of the day, this is normal market structure. What do I teach you? We trend, consolidation, next leg lower, next leg higher. That's what we're waiting for here on this market. That's number one. We're sitting in a channel. Keep in mind, this is the weekly time frame past 3 years. This is last year. Look at the beautiful price action last year. We didn't have any range like we do now. Pop to the upside, to the downside. This happened in April. From April all the way basically to the end of the year, we trended up 7+ months, right? Of a trending market. No one says anything. Now that we're consolidating, it feels like forever. But we were in a trending market pretty much the majority of all of last year, to be completely honest. Even when the tariff talks popped off in April and we had that sell off, look how quickly we recovered and made all time highs. Now, let's look at 2024. Look at the beautiful continuation here in the market. Every dip was just getting bought up aggressively here on the weekly time frame. We're trending, beautiful price action on the weekly time frame. And then even look at 2023, just nice moves to the upside and to the downside. So we haven't seen a range like this in years. That's something to keep in mind. So if there's nothing going on and you feel like your trading's been slow, stagnant, fake outs, this and that, well, that's why, right? We're just stuck in a range. As I always say, we are risk managers before we are traders. So I myself, you guys know me, very transparent. You can go back, my weekly recaps, my trade recaps, I show my position size, I show my ROI, all those things. I say that to say, even myself, I have scaled down tremendously in this market. My average size now is about $6,000 to $10,000 a trade. When the markets was hot and trending, it was anywhere between 20 to 25, even 30,000 a trade. So understanding the conditions, this is not the time to make money. The market's been stuck in a range. So I really wanted to break that down and show you what I mean by that. Now, let's go here on the 1 hour. And this is across the board. This is across the board on the entire market. Let's go here in the 1 hour. Let's just scoot this over a little bit. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. And you got to remember, we trade options. So it's not just about the technical break and retest. The Greeks matter. A lot of factors go into trading options. So these conditions, as I always say, know the pros and cons to your system. These conditions are not favorable for our system, right? If prices compress, right, sometimes the VIX can be high. You have to deal with the Greeks such as theta. You have to deal with, okay, cool, the IV spike, you make it a big move in your favor, and you barely get paid on the underline when those moves go in your favor. There's a lot of things that goes into options, such as conditions. It's not just about the break and retest itself. So when we're sitting in a channel in consolidation, that's not really the best, conditions for us when trading options. If you're trading futures, very different, right? You don't have to worry about Greeks. That's non-existent in futures. So I really want to hit on that. Let's go to Qs. And this is across the board. I'm going to show you this across the board, right? Look at Qs. We're on the 1 hour. Just look at Qs. It's just been sitting sideways, stuck in between 613 and 599. I'm making this as the market's still open. We're going into power hour. FOMC just happened. Really didn't do anything. Fed didn't cut the rates. So, that news catalyst didn't get us outside of this range. We didn't get a big pop to the upside or to the downside. This is just what we're dealing with. So let's go here on Qs as well. Let's zoom out. And Qs has pretty much been probably the most frustrating, I would say. But let's go here on Qs. And this is something that, I teach as well. And we have to remember, as I always say, when in doubt, zoom out. The same way we have inside bar days, it's the same way we have inside bar weeks. This has been Qs, stuck in between 613 and 599 for almost 5 to 6 weeks. You can see every week has just been the same. We haven't done anything. So if you're stepping on the gas, this is why. You got to be a risk manager, right? The reason it's been slow is because of this. So not trading is still trading. There's nothing going on. I haven't been doing anything, and that should reflect in your trading, right? The conditions should reflect in your trading. So less is more, as we always know, and this is what we're dealing with on the weekly. It's just been stuck in a range, doing absolutely nothing. Now let's zoom out here, and this is pretty much the same thing on Qs. Look at, last year, we had to sell off to the downside, big recovery here in April, and look at the beautiful trend that we had to the upside, right? Beautiful. It was easy to trade. These are very tough conditions. Look at the year before, 2024. Just beautiful trend to the upside. Every dip got bought up aggressively here on the weekly time frame. And then look at 2023, same thing. So when you look at, the weekly time frame in the last 3 years, you don't even see any conditions like this. It's unfortunate, it's annoying, but it is what it is. That's what we're dealing with right now. So you got to be able to pivot. You got to be a risk manager before a trader. If you're trading with a smaller account as well, these are not the conditions to try and grow your account. These are not the conditions to step on the gas. So like I said, if it's slow, that's a good thing. If you have not been making money and you've had a lot of cash days, that's a good thing. That shows elite discipline. What you do now will affect you when this market breaks outside of the range. This is not a game. So, if this is your hard-earned capital that you've been going to work for, standing, working OT so you can put money into your account, take care of it, right? Treat it right. This is not, a game where, all right, cool, you take a loss, this and that. No, this is real life. This is real money. So take care of it. Treat every trade like an A+ shot. If it's not an A+, you know me, as I say, if it's not an A+ trade, why are you taking the trade? So I really want to break this down on the Qs, on the SPY, just showing you the conditions that we're in, showing you what we're doing, and we're doing a whole lot of nothing. For the last 5 to 6 weeks on Qs, it's just been stuck in between pretty much 613 to 599, really 587, just doing absolutely nothing. Inside bar day, every day, inside bar week, pretty much every week, a lot of gaps in the market, a lot of mean reversions. These things matter, and these are not favorable conditions for our system. So I really wanted to break that down. Let's go here on our regular, and this is just me, give it a simple breakdown. You can take it with a grain of salt, or you can soak up what I'm telling you. The choice is yours. But this is all Qs have been doing, as you can see, just ranging. So the top of the range here is 613. Every time we push into 613, we push all the way back down to 599. The last level of defense really after 599 is 594.90. If you zoom out here on the daily time frame, you can see here, every time we get under 599, just look how strong, 594.90, this demand area is being defended. Every single time we pull down here, and you just see, look at these wicks on the daily. Look how big and bullish these candles are on the daily time frame every single time we pull back down into 594.90. So that's just something to keep in mind. And this is what we're dealing with. We're just stuck in here on the Qs. Now, let's get into the tech names. And it's really no different. As you, I made a video, this is one of my earlier videos a while ago, which was called the No Trade Zone. That helped a lot of people. That's something you should go back on. And that's what I've been doing myself. I've been treating all these key levels, all these zones as no trade zones. I don't care to play the top of the range and the bottom of the range unless it's really the SPY or Qs. I'm just being patient and being very conservative, just waiting for the range break to either side. And when you look at here on Tesla, you can see just pretty much bouncing between 402, 394, just stuck in a range. Has not been doing anything. The market all across the board has not been doing much. If you zoom out here on Tesla, you go here on the weekly as well. Does this look like a name that's trending? No, right? It's just stuck. Terrible price action, inside bar week almost every other week. 383.20 has been the key level holding this thing up. If we can get under that, finally we'll be making a lower low here. Yeah, we are making our way lower here on the weekly time frame, but inside bar week, terrible price action. This is across the board. Let's go here on Nvidia. I think Nvidia looks the worst out of every tech name. This is the weekly time frame. Look at Nvidia, right? Last year, we had that sell off in April, like I mentioned. We trended to the upside 7+ months, made new all-time highs all the way from April to December, just straight upside. And now we're just dealing with this. Not the best looking name. So, and Nvidia looks the worst. I mean, this is only weekly levels here, some daily, but just look at Nvidia. Does this look like a trendy name? No. We're just consolidating on the weekly time frame. So you can only imagine what this looks like on the smaller time frame. So, be selective, be conservative, be patient, because I promise you it's going to pay off when this market breaks the range and starts to trend. You have to understand that. Don't have, death by 1,000 cuts. That's a real thing. Don't blow your account right now. This is what the market's doing. We're consolidating. We're not trending. When in doubt, zoom out. Just compare, the past. Let's zoom out here. Past couple of years. Last year. I mean, look at Nvidia last year. Beautiful, right? We had that dip in April. Beautiful upside till December, making all-time highs. Look at the year before. Year started off very nice, trendy. I mean, look at this. This is a weekly time frame. Beautiful. Continue. Dips getting bought up aggressively, and now we're just dealing with the sideways action. So it's been, roughly 3 years since we've seen like anything like this across the board on the overall market. Let's go to AMD, another name. Look at AMD here on the weekly. Terrible. Does this look like a name that's trending? This is all AMD has been doing. Stuck within this range as well. Inside bar week, not doing much. We had a weekly double top up here, but since then, just doing nothing. We've just been sitting in a channel, sitting sideways. Let's zoom in here on the 1 hour so you can get a better visual of the market of these tech names doing nothing. I mean, look at that. There's nothing going on. So if we're trading, if price is within these ranges, I'm just not touching anything. I'm just waiting for the range break. I'm treating all these as no trade zones for obvious reasons. I'm not a reversal trader. As I always say, there is no right or wrong way to trade. But I understand the higher probability shot especially for the contracts as well, is just waiting for the break and retest outside of the range. I know that. And you can see we've been ranging. We're respecting our key levels for sure, but just been ranging. You can see here on the video, just been stuck in between 203 and 193.30. I'm sorry, on AMD. So just doing a whole lot of nothing here. Very simple. I'm not going to take a trade off a previous day higher low, just dead smack in the middle of the range. That's not a high probability setup in my book. Apple. All right, let's go here on the weekly on Apple. Just showing you guys the tech names. It's across the board. So this week, Apple finally had broke this 255 here. But prior to, last week finally breaking that, this is all Apple was doing. It was holding, you can see here, this 255. Keeping this up, and we were just sitting sideways here on Apple. Just no continuation to the upside, to the downside. You can see on the weekly, we are starting to make some lower lows. We finally got under 255. We got that retest. Hopefully we can move lower here. But just across the board, on Nvidia, on Tesla, on Qs, on SPY, the market's just ranging on the higher time frames. So if we're stuck in a range and we're sitting sideways in the higher time frame, what do you think that's going to look like when you're taking trades on the 1 minute, on the 2 minute time frame? It's going to look worse, right? So just wanted to give you guys this video, a little update on the market, what the market's doing, whole lot of nothing. And one piece of advice that I do want to give, and something that I've been saying, is the market doesn't owe us anything. We've been stuck in a channel on SPY and Qs really since November. We're coming into the end of Q1. Who knows, right? We can sit in here until the end of Q2. We could sit in the middle of Q2. I mean, we really don't know, but it's not our job to predict. It's our job to react. But I want you to keep that in mind, that hey, now's not the time to try and step on the gas, grow an account. You can try, but it's going to be very hard. When we're sitting in channels of consolidations, we're not going to get clean follow through. That's the entire point of the break and retest, right? You get the breakout, you get the retest, you get clean follow through and continuation. And the market's not giving us that right now. So that's just something to keep in the back of your mind. Like I said myself, I haven't been trading much. And this is really, I'm coming up on, I think at the end of April, a year of being a full-time trader. End of April. And this is really record-breaking cash days for me in my journey, right? I haven't had this many cash days in, I mean, God knows how long. This is like record-breaking for me. Average for me when market is normal, about 3 to 4 trades a week. Lately, it's been maybe 1 trade to 0 trades. Today is Wednesday. Cash day for me. I haven't taken any trades at all this week alone. So just want to, share that with you guys. If things feel slow, if you feel like you can't get anything going, don't beat yourself up. Just be patient. Understand what you're doing. Protect your capital. That's the most important thing, because you can't trade without capital. These are very tough conditions. Don't let anyone tell you differently. These are tough conditions, but remember, not trading is still trading. Not trading is still proper risk management. Preserve your capital, protect it, wait for the conditions to be favorable in our system, and then when it does, step on the gas. So I hope this helps. Just giving you guys a little bit of update on, I've gotten emails on, I've been MIA. No, not at all. I'm not going to give you, I'm not a hypocrite, right? I'm not going to give you a pre-market plan when, names are stuck in a channel or in a range, knowing that if that sets up, I'm not going to take it. I'm only going to give you guys, plans and trades that I know that I'm going to take myself. The history, the proof has been there from the past videos in the past. So I hope this helps. Don't beat yourself up. If you can, stay alive in these conditions and, practice good habits in these conditions, once or if we break this range, you're going to thrive. I promise you that much. You're going to thrive. But remember, you can't trade without any capital. Control what you can control. Don't have death by 1,000 cuts. Sitting in this range, sitting in this channel. You can see today's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days, Tesla's done nothing. At least for me. It's been stuck in between 402, 394. Nothing going on. Market's stuck in a range. So just journal, show up every day, react, don't predict, scale down until this market breaks out of this range. Just channel across the board. I mean, pretty much the entire Mag 7 is stuck in a range, stuck in a channel. We're not in trending markets. You got to remember that. You got to understand that. So hope this helps. Hope I can give some clarification on some things. And I will see you guys on the next one.